art class with Mr. Thompson. I want to do, before we jump right into class and get right back down to business, I want to do a check in with you guys and see how was your spring break. So over the spring break, I've done a few things. I've had a few highlights, but I want to check in with you and see how was your spring break. What were some things that were the highlight of your spring break? What did you do over your spring break? And we're actually going to be starting out with a PDN. So we're going to do a 5-minute quick write. So just find your comfortable place in the house where you can write focused for 10 to 15 minutes. And we're just going to do a quick 5-minute quick write. What did you do over spring break? What was your highlight? Maybe you got a lot more rest. Maybe you did something else or got to spend time with some family and things like that. But that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna meet you over at the classroom. We're gonna do the 5-minute quick write for the PDN, and then we're going to go ahead and move on. So, a couple of things that I wanted to share about my spring break that were highlights for me was that I was able to relax a lot. I took a step back, and even though I was still communicating with students and I saw a lot of great work being turned into me, which I am going to be putting into a presentation and doing my student highlight as I usually do. And I'm excited to showcase a lot of the great student work that I received over spring break. But I also did take a step back and I was able to relax a lot. And one of the highlights for me was that I actually got a new bike. If you didn't know, Mr. Thompson is a huge cyclist. So over the course of, even though I can't meet up and hang out with all my friends like I usually do and all of those different things because we're in quarantine, I was able to take my bike out and ride some miles. So once I got my bike, I did go on a couple big rides where I rode about 20 miles, and then I did another ride that was about 50 miles. So that was a big highlight for me, just to get back on my bike and see whether or not I could actually still ride. That was a big highlight for me. But also, another big highlight for me was that, as I mentioned in class previously, earlier this year when we were actually in school, Mr. Thompson is half Jamaican. So a big highlight for me was actually speaking with some of my family who is over in Jamaica and just seeing how they're doing. They're affected by coronavirus as well. But to be able to speak with them, I haven't been back in Jamaica for over 10 years now, and it was nice to hear them and interact with them. That was a big highlight for me over spring break. So again, really looking forward to reading your responses in the PDN. But also, you guys had the opportunity to read one of my favorite graphic novels, which was I Kill Giants. And it's one of my favorites for a few reasons, but I want to get a temperature check on what you guys thought about the graphic novel. What was your favorite parts? What you like about it? What didn't you like about it? And what were some of the things that stood out to you about the book? Okay, so we're gonna do a quick response about the book. You can meet me back in the classroom, and we will discuss it. All right. All right. And finally, now that we've done a check-in about how your spring break was and how the book was, I also want to do one more check-in just to see how we're doing as far as the project that we started over spring break. So over spring break, as you know, we started working on our own personal graphic novel, and we introduced a couple of things. We picked a title for our graphic novel. We introduced the characters for our graphic novel, the rise in action, and now we're actually going to be moving into the conflict. So today, in your Google Slides, which you will find in the classroom, we're going to be working on the conflict. So the conflict is going to be the big issue. We already should know who the characters are. We already should know who. So the characters are going to be the major players. So the people that you picked, You described them, you already know what they look like, etc., etc. We're drawing and making this graphic novel at this point. You've introduced the rise in action, so you kind of have a build up already. And now we're in these next 4 slides. We're going to be putting together the issue, the conflict, right? So, what is the problem that is going to be faced in these next 4 panels? So, today, what you're going to do, you're going to go onto that to Google Slides, and you can hope what I've been wanting you to do up until this point, if there was any confusion, is you can hand draw these panels and upload them, take a picture of them and upload them into slides. So as I create the highlight for the student work that I've been receiving, I just want you guys to know that that is something that you can also do as well, to hand draw the panels and upload them into Google Slides so that they have your artistic style as well. So today you're going to go to Google Slides, you're going to create your 4 panels, and there should be the conflict. So again, we already have our characters that we have created. We know who the major players are. We know what they look like, etc., etc. We already have our rise in action, which is going to be the build up to the what's actually coming next. So, which is the conflict, and the conflict is going to be the issue that the character is going to face, and they're going to eventually, ideally, overcome. So, again, this is your personal story, your personal graphic novel. So it's up to you to introduce that conflict. Be creative with it, and you can use more than just words again to say what the conflict is. Use those art panels and that opportunity to draw as a means of uh, showing the conflict instead of just kind of saying, okay, these 2 people did this, and that. You should be showing what it looks like as they're getting into this conflict in these panels. Okay, so again, we're going to be back at the Google Classroom. You're going to do your 4 slides introducing the conflict today, and that's going to be all for class today. And I will see you tomorrow. Again, welcome back. It's been a long week. I'm happy to be back in class with you guys, and I'd be even more happy to be in class with you guys. But I hope you had an incredible spring break, and I look forward to hearing from you and reading your responses tomorrow. Bye.